And now let's talk more about this with attorney Salvador Panelo, former presidential legal counsel. He joins us now on the line. Hi, attorney Sal, and thank you for joining us on Morning Matters.
Good morning.
Good morning, attorney. Okay, simulan na po natin sa manifestation ng Office of the Solicitor General to recuse itself. What's your reaction to that, attorney, and how huge is that development for your side?
Well, it means that the lawyers in the Office of the Solicitor General are being filthy to their oath of office. They will serve this country to the best of their ability and integrity.
Mm-hmm. Attorney, sinabi niyo rin po na the recusal or the decision to recuse ng OSG was also another way of saying na illegal po ang pag-aresto kay Mr. Duterte ng ICC?
Yes, because it is saying that it will be consistent with its position that ICC has no jurisdiction. If ICC has no jurisdiction, then the warrant of arrest issued by it and enforced by this government is illegal.
Mm-hmm. And attorney, do you think this manifestation nga po ng OSG or yung stance ng OSG will only boost the Duterte's argument sa Supreme Court na wala nga pong jurisdiction ang ICC?
Not only boost, it has validated our position that ICC has no jurisdiction. Totoo naman talaga walang jurisdiction. Even the President himself is saying that. Ang problema lang, iba ang pinapakinggan niyang advice. I don't know where it's coming from. Kasi he maintains that it has no jurisdiction, and yet he is following the advice that Interpol has the authority to enforce the writ of the ICC. How can ICC becomes legal in terms of issuing a warrant and enforcing it? And how can Interpol be authorized to enforce a request coming from ICC that has no jurisdiction?
Mm-hmm. And attorney, when do you expect to get a response or an update dito po nga sa petition for Habeas corpus? Di ba you represent po ito nga si Kitty Duterte sa kasong ito?
Yes. Ang rule dyan, after they file the response, either the Supreme Court decides the case or directs us to make a rejoinder and then decide the case.
And when do you expect to receive that, attorney?
We haven't received any yet.
Mm-mm. Okay.
So if we don't receive any, it means the court will resolve it forthwith.
Mm-hmm. But are you confident, attorney? Are you optimistic that the Supreme Court will be ruling in your favor in terms of itong habeas corpus petition nga? But also taking note that the Supreme Court already ruled back in 2021 that the Philippines still has obligations to cooperate po sa ICC.
Alam mo yung sinasabi mong desisyon ng Korte Suprema, ang tingin ko doon obiter dictum lang yun. Ibig sabihin, hindi yun ang principal issue. The principal issue then, iba. Naging moot and academic kasi pinag-uusapan nila doon whether may jurisdiction o wala. So, parang in passing sinabi na may residual obligation tayo kasi meron daw provisions sa statute na even if we have withdrawn, since they started investigating daw prior to the withdrawal, meron pa tayong obligasyon. Palagay ko, hindi nakita ng Korte Suprema na yung investigation referred to, hindi naman talaga yun ang ginawa. Kung hindi yung preliminary examination of determining whether it can assume jurisdiction because the conditions imposed by the rule of complementary present. Hindi naman present So, yung preliminary examination, iba yun doon sa investigation proper. Kaya, isinama namin yun sa aming argumento.
Pero attorney, ano po ba ang prayer nyo dito sa inyong petisyon? Because marami pong ibang lawyers naman na nagsasabi that the Supreme Court doesn't have power to issue orders sa international court. Kumbaga, it cannot assert its power over an international constitution. So how do you plan on getting Mr. Duterte back to the Philippines through the Supreme Court?
The question is not the court compelling the ICC.
Yes, attorney.
Kakatawa nga ako sa mga argumento nila. Sabi ko, the question is not compelling ICC to surrender Mr. Duterte. Hindi yan. Ang issue is the Supreme Court has jurisdiction over this government's illegal acts. Under the Constitution, sila ang pwede mag-resolve noon. Since the government has illegally arrested, detained, and kidnapped the former president and blocked him out of this country, then this government has committed an illegal act. And therefore, the Supreme Court can compel it to correct its wrong and do something about it and bring the former president to their presence.
But attorney, how can the government do that?
Nasa problema ng gobyerno yun, hindi ICC. Ang ICC tumanggap lamang ng katawan ng dating Presidente Marcos, Duterte. Kaya, ang may problema, ang gobyerno natin. Since you committed the wrong, you correct your wrong. How you do it, yun ang problema mo. Kung hindi mo gagawin yan, accountable ka sa batas.
But attorney, how do you see the government doing that? Is it making representation? Is it through diplomatic relations? How can the government get Mr. Duterte back? Kung nasa ICC na po ang jurisdiction.
Yeah, you should ask the government how they're going to do it if they're compelled. Hindi na namin problema yon. Ganun din ang Supreme Court. Hindi rin problema ng Korte Suprema yon. Ang problema, kayong gumawa ng problema nyo, gumawa kayo ng paraan. Gobyerno tayo, may magagawa tayo. May magagawa. Isuko nyo nga eh. Naggumawa nga kayo ng illegal eh. Siguro, this time gumawa kayo ng legal. Gawin nyo ang paraan. Balik nyo ang presidente dito.
Okay. Well, earlier we also reported, Attorney Sala, yung inyong criticism of Senator Imee Marcos sa kanyang plano na imbestigahin ang pag-aresto kay former President Duterte. Bakit sa tingin niyo, Attorney, unnecessary na yung investigation na yon na planong isagawa ni Senator Imee Marcos?
Kasi nga, obvious na illegal. Mismong gobyerno, abogado ng gobyerno, sabi na walang jurisdiction, di illegal. Pangalawa, si Imee ay nakatapos ng abogasiya. Hindi siya lisensyadong abogado, pero she finished law. Alam niya kung ano ang illegal at hindi. Ano pang kailangan mong pag-aralan o kailangan mo na imbestigahan? Nakita mo na, lantaran na nga. Siya na nga mismo nagsasabi na hindi niya masikmura yung ginawa sa dating Presidente Duterte. Bakit? Kasi mali. Kasi illegal. Ano pang gusto mong gawin? Kandidato lang yan. Kaya gusto niyang, as usual, yung mga politiko, publisidad. At saka, napaka-hypocritical ang mga stance niya. Bumanat siya sa kapatid niya. Nagsisiksik siya sa mga Duterte. Hindi niya raw papabayaan itong si Sara. Pagkatapos, nagkakandara pa siyang pumunta doon sa States at nag-kumandidato sa linya ng administrasyon. Sino maniniwala sa kanya? O kaya tingnan mo, ang survey, bagsak siya sa survey. Kasi ang tao, nakikita kung sino yung mga matatapat. They can see through the hypocrisy, the insincerity, and the people who are just using the Dutertes for their own benefit and interest.
All right. Well, Attorney, we will be monitoring all these developments. But for now, thank you very much for sharing your insights with us here on Morning Matters. Maraming salamat po, former Presidential Legal Counsel, Attorney Salvador Panelo.